Now let's get back to your early career, right? You have a very successful early fights. You won a lot of them, and then finally you face Billy Joe Saunders, right? Which was basically your first loss, but it was a very razor edge fight. What do you remember about facing Billy Joe Saunders?
It was crazy. It was a crazy night. We didn't end up getting in the ring till like 1 a.m.
Oh
So it
wow.
was we'd weighed in obviously a day and a half before by then, and just inexperienced at the time, not being fueled enough for the fight. But I went in there and gave a great account of myself. Billy Joe was a great fighter. Um, Again, it was razor tight, and you could have flicked a coin to pick a winner.
I know that's what I thought. I mean, like I saw that fight like a couple of times, and sometimes I saw you winning, sometimes I saw Billy Joe. So it's one of those fights that is just it could have gone like pretty much anywhere, and I mean it didn't go your way. Which I mean, it leads me to your other loss, the first loss on knockout with Blackwell. That I was watching that fight. What do you remember about that fight? Because in my opinion, I think the referee didn't favor you on that one. I think he stopped the fight too soon, and you were getting a very good momentum on the fight. I actually thought that you could be even winning. What do you remember about that, and how did that shape you for the future?
Yeah, I remember I think it was, I felt like I was well up the first 4 rounds. I was winning
Yeah.
well, boxing well, landing at will. And then I got hit with a body shot at the end of the fourth, I think, and then got
Okay.
it was a good shot, a good liver shot. And then in the fifth round, I got caught on the chin, but the referee just called a halt as I went to. I got caught with a good shot as I stepped forward to try and grab hold of Nick. The
Yeah.
referee, no, he stepped back, so I stepped back to gain some space, and the referee stepped in and stopped the fight, which was a weird time to stop it.
Did that demotivate you at that moment? Did that make you feel like maybe boxing was not the most fairest sport, or it just didn't? It just make you work harder for your next fight?
I think we all know boxing's not always fair, but
Yeah.
it just
We're
it
gonna
just
talk about that with you.
that's it. It just motivated me to do better. I mean, I was struggling at middleweight then, and I knew that I'd be
Yeah.
making the move up to super middleweight before too long, but I didn't make it straight away. I tried again, but obviously it was too much making the weight for me.
Definitely, definitely. Then also I remember the fight with Rocky Fielding. I mean, the reason why I went and looked at that fight is because later on Rocky Fielding became famous for facing Canelo, but it was also a very razor edge fight, right? I mean, I don't know, what do you think about that fight? What do you remember about facing Rocky Fielding? Because I think it's another decision that could have gone your way. It seems like every single time we're talking about some of your fights, you just got the short end of the stick, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, like if you fight someone from Liverpool in Liverpool, the chances are you're not going to get the fairest crack of the whip. But listen, it was a close fight, and I feel like I had him going in the, I think it was the 10th or the 11th round. I caught him with a big
Hmm.
shot, and I needed to go for the kill. Whereas I thought I was going to
Yeah.
get a fair shot. I didn't, and it showed on the cards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it was another fight that definitely you could have got the hand right, and yeah, it was a little bit. I mean, I definitely admire a lot your resilience about those moments and keep going and just keep going to a comeback. And I mean, sorry, I'm remember you these kind of experiences, but I mean, we had to name it because this is the other fight that actually got you in the radar of pretty much everybody, at least on that time on my radar when you fought Callum Smith. What do you remember about that fight with Callum Smith? That's another one that we all remember Callum Smith as the fighter that Canelo needed to fight in 168 because he won the World Boxing Super Series. He looked tremendous in that tournament, but then he fought you, and then we're like, okay, he's fighting this guy, John Ryder. So we saw the fight, and to be honest, I think you were robbed on that fight. What do you remember about that?
I remember just being in there and at one point, just thinking we was trading. I just thought to myself, this is probably
Uh-huh.
quite a good fan to watch. Fight. It's quite a good fight to watch for the fans. It's
Yeah.
quite exciting. But then I remember just second half of the fight just taking over, and I think in the end I had myself rounds and I had myself 8 rounds.
Yeah.
But there's no way I saw him winning at all.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, did you guys ever talk about maybe a rematch at that point, or he just decided not to look back to you and just try to go and cash his ticket with Canelo?
I think it was a bad time, especially with the COVID-19 breakout and
Oh,
the
that's true.
lockdowns, and obviously a lot of boxing stopped. And then when boxing straight in line to face Canelo.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it was, I mean, but at least we all remember when, when that happened, that obviously your name now came into the equation. And I mean, I think after that, I think luck start going into your side because you went and jumped to a couple of good victories, and then you start getting names like, for example, Daniel Jacobs. What do you remember about facing Daniel Jacobs at that moment? Because finally, I feel that you got you got in the side about finally getting the decision in so many of those close fights where you could have got it, and they didn't give it to you, but finally they give you that that victory against a big name like Jacobs at that moment. What do you remember?
It was great, especially Jacobs. I was a fan of Jacobs long before I ever saw him as a rival. His
Hmm.
story is a remarkable one. What he's been through.
Yeah.
Um, so for me to be coming out of the crazy time we've been in recently through COVID and not knowing what was going to happen with boxing and live shows to finally come out the other side and to get a live show back in my hometown against a name like Danny Jacobs was brilliant, and it was great to share the ring with him. I was surprised at how I didn't find him strong inside. I didn't think he could punch hard, and
Hmm.
it was I was expecting more from him all the time. And then when the later rounds come, and I could just see that there wasn't the desire to push it. He'd given all. He didn't have any more gears. Didn't have any more to give. So it was more just like take over now.
Yeah, yeah. So I think definitely that gives you a lot of more experience, and finally, to be able to be in that big stage and seeing those guys and understanding what moment you need to raise your pace on the fights to obtain the victory, which I think that was definitely a very good victory for you. And then it came the opportunity. Well, you fought Zach Parker, right? Which probably they were trying to push him hard too, to be one of the next stars from over there from England. And then you beat him. You beat him by technical knockout. I think he got into a fight with you there, and he got injured or something like that, right, on his hand or something.
Yeah, I think he broke his hand in the fifth round and couldn't continue. So it was the tide was turning in my favour. I was starting to get on
Yeah.
top, and then he threw a shot, landed wrong, and his hand went. But yeah, we got the victory and then got the opportunity.
And then you got the big ticket, right? So we're gonna
That's
move
it.
into that right now. The Canelo fight. So champ, I think it was May 2023, Guadalajara, Mexico. You walk into the Lions Den against Canelo Álvarez. I think a lot of people didn't think that you were gonna last the whole route, but you actually went the full 12 rounds, showing grit and showing a lot of heart. So I mean, when I was watching your fights and was trying to do the trailer for this interview, I picked the soundtrack of Rocky because I felt on that moment when I was rewatching that fight with Canelo that it reminded me, and I don't know if you agree with me, the fight of Rocky against Apollo Creed, the first one, right? That I mean, people were thinking that he was just gonna lose by knockout, but for him, it was about trying to win, but trying to go the distance and being competitive and prove himself that he deserved to be at that level. And I think that's what you proved there in Guadalajara, going all the way to Mexico to fight the champ on his home field and face it with a very hostile crowd as well, cheering for him and going the distance. And then actually in the last couple of rounds of the fight, you look really good. Touching Canelo with good uppercuts, and you won the respect of all the people. Do you feel that maybe that's a good comparison, that you are the Rocky Balboa of the of the boxing?
Yeah, no, I love that comparison. As a child, I loved the Rocky films. I still love to see the Creed films now. So yeah, I mean, for me, that's a great comparison. I feel honoured as such. It was the Rocky was so much excitement, and honestly, I watch back the Canelo highlights now, and I feel the excitement, and I'm like, wow, that was me.
That was amazing. What do you remember about being in Guadalajara in that promotion and being on that stadium, walking inside? I mean, obviously, you are some used to those big crowds in England, but being now part of that main event and being part of the main event with the face of boxing, but not in just like a neutral turf, like so to speak, right? Which is the US, Las Vegas, or
Yeah.
any of those places. Because I mean, even that is Canelo's backyard too, but it's not Mexico. So here, like from the moment that you arrive to the country and that you are on the city, it's like a different language. Everything is different. What do you remember about that moment, and what came into your mind when you were walking from the, I would say, for the locker room to the ring at that moment?
I was so focused on just myself, the ring, and the Canelo. I didn't. I knew the crowd was going to be hostile. Um, I knew that I wouldn't hear the music, and it was just going to be me alone with my thoughts. So literally, I just done so much work to focus on myself, being present in the moment, and not letting this pass me up. That I didn't even notice the crowd. I didn't hear no boos. I didn't hear nothing. It just fully focused on getting to the ring and just getting about the work.
Nice, nice. Do you, at that moment, you thought about it, everything that you went through your whole career, all the times that maybe you were just short on getting the decision, but somehow, some way, your effort, your perseverance, and your heart took you to that big stage where finally, the world of boxing rewards you back with such a big fight. Did you feel like I did it? I made it to the big stage?
Of course, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people who believe they deserve it more than me. Um, but it was my just rewards. I got it. I'd been on the wrong end a few times. Been had a few dodgy decisions go against me, and now's my time to get back and get what I deserved. And whether it be in my hometown or his hometown or in Las Vegas, I was just honored to be there in that ring in the opposite corners of that man.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was tremendous, and I think at the end of the day, the people recognize a lot your effort on that fight, and also the fact that you were there to fight. Because we've seen other fighters with Canelo that recently, like for example, this fight with William School, that the guy had his golden ticket, the opportunity to shine and to for the people to see him, and maybe after that make himself a career, even if he didn't beat Canelo. And he decided to basically throw everything to the trash by not fighting, by not trying to win. We saw it with Charlo and other guys. But let me ask you this, because I think this is one of the things that I want to know, and the people that are watching us right now, they want to know. They want to know your insights. They want to know your experience now in the ring with Canelo, because as you can see, Canelo, it's a very polarizing fighter in Mexico. There's a lot of people that hates Canelo, that doesn't give him the credit. Also, he has a lot of fans as well. But what would you say surprised you about Canelo being in the ring with him, that maybe you were getting ready to fight him and everything? And a lot of people, when they're trying to get that fight with Canelo, even when they are doing the promotions, they said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then they finally get a chance to be in the ring with him. What did surprise you about the way Canelo fights? What would you say was your experience inside the ring? And I don't know, like everybody says, like they have a plan, but as Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched. What does Canelo do that sometimes it makes the fights, more complicated for the rival than what it is?
His ring IQ is so good. His footwork, he cuts the ring off. It's brilliant. The head movement, the slipping and sliding, but just his accuracy. His speed is not so fast, but his accuracy, he's so accurate, and he almost show you what he's going to throw, but throw it with enough force and enough venom that it's going to get there no matter what the guard, the block, the roll. He's so
Yeah. Let me see, because it's cutting a little bit, your audio.